morning. 2010 Camaro Super Sport LS3 manual transmission. Customer did all his own work, bought all his parts here, which is we love to see and we love to support. So we support all you DIY guys, you know. We'll give you the proper advice, make sure you get the right parts, and if you do a good job on it, all we have to do is tune it for you. And this one tuned up real well. So this got a complete set of our in-house LS3 cylinder heads with a valve job, contour valve job and everything. So we just swapped them out. We have them on exchange, which saves a lot of time, you know, at the machine shop. We keep several sets in stock. Those of you who are looking, you know, to have an exchange cylinder head for LS3 or L99, we have them in stock. It's got our rough idle 470 cam that we've been using for years. I think newer version in the last 4 or 5 years. It's been really good, easy on valve train parts. It's got a, you know, complete 3/8 push rods. It's got the trunnion kit, got the BTR springs, retainers, locks and seals. It's got a C5R timing chain. It's got the batwing tensioner, melling oil pump and catch can. This K&N kit is not the best kit on the market, but it's temporary because he's looking toward a supercharger, so basically prepping it. This has ID 1050s in it, believe it or not. Big injector for an NA, but it runs perfect, you know, because we have really good injector data. Super important. Cooks long tube headers, high flow X pipe into aftermarket mufflers. Sounds great. Sounds rowdy.
Oh yeah.
He also did our fuel rail flip kit. So we have this deal here, and it has a flex fuel sensor. So we're going to be putting E85 in it in a few minutes here. And of course, it's got upgraded wires from Texas Speed and our NGK spark plugs. Really cool. So really nice car. It's only got 39,000 miles on it, and he keeps it in impeccable condition.
It's my favorite color that they come in. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the crystal red tint coat.
Tint coat.
Like
yep.
That. Yeah, and he also did our because this is a 2010.
Did the heater lines?
The heater lines used to run up over the top of the fuel rail here and then into the heater core. Well, we did the heater core line kit from the 2012 and up Camaros. We keep those in stock as well. We do a lot of 10 and 11 cars. They always get that.
Nice.
It just cleans up the engine compartment.
Yeah.
It gets the heat away from the intake manifold. You got hot water running over your fuel rail and over your manifold. You don't want that.
Plus, it's less to move out of the way for future work.
And it gets rid of the big long fuel line that comes around this side and hooks up over here. So we took the fuel rail, flipped it. So the pressure port is in the back, which is no big deal. Cleans it up nice, gives it a better look. And let's see what the numbers look like. 472
on a dot.
So we're exceeding our advertised claims here. But you know, when you got a good solid engine with good valve seal, you know, a nice contour valve job, it's going to optimize the combination, and it's going to make what the cam can make. You know, we've seen this cam make 470 a lot of times, and if it doesn't, then usually there's something that's not quite mechanically perfect in the engine that'll reduce the numbers that it puts down. It's got 443 pounds of torque. That's the first 2 runs after I did all the VVE tuning and a little bit of MAF tuning. The MAF was really close because I tuned this K&N a bunch of times before, so I had a good base MAF curve to put in it. It was a little rich on the first pull. We cleaned it up about 4%. So that's pretty close, like that. And any questions or comments, please post them down below. Always happy to answer those questions. We're going to put some E85 in it and see what it does.
All right, let's say it.
All right, good deal. wasn't watching the numbers. I was watching the data logger. See what we got. Oh, we picked up a little bit.
Yeah.
479.
Picked up 7 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
Or 7 horsepower.
7 horse and 7 foot-pounds.
7 foot-pounds.
Yeah, so, the combination is not knock limited on pump gas. So when you switch to E85, you're not going to see much gains. Whereas in a supercharged application, you're severely knock limited on pump gas, 93 octane, okay? And when you put E in it, we'll typically see about a 10% gain. You're going to feel that torque. Even if it's only 7 foot-pounds, you're going to feel
It's
it.
there.
That's multiplied by the transmission ratios and by the gear ratios, in the back of the cars. And this has 391s in it. This has one of our built 391 diffs in it. So this car is going to be fast. A 480 rear wheel. That's one pole, no changes. All we do is add the fuel. So I could probably tweak it a little bit, maybe make a little bit more. I just noticed that this K&N hot air kit is pulling in a lot of hot air. So I'm sure that that's cutting us back a little bit there too. So I'm going to take a look at that and see if I can make any improvements there. I mean, the only real way to improve it is to pull it off and put a cold air inductions on it. And we'll probably see another 6 or 7 rear wheel just doing that, because then it will be bringing in only cold air. These things have big gaps around the shield and everything. I don't know if anybody ever really took a good close look at it, but there's a fairly large gap at the bottom. There's a gap here, and unless this car's flying down the road with this hood sealed up, it's going to be pulling in hot air. Even your headers right here, I could stick my fingers in there. That's about 1.5 inch gap there, and it's in the backside, it's all along the bottom, all along the frame rail, and the headers are right there. So it's going to be pulling, your radiators right there, blowing hot air into that air box. So this was a quick and dirty K&N deal that they came out with. I tested these back in 2009 and in 2010 again, and if you Google JRE air intake test on the Gen 5 Camaro, you'll come up with a spreadsheet that has all of the cold air kits that were ever available for these back in those days. A lot of them have been discontinued and gone because they didn't do very well. This one's still around, and they're still selling because they're K&N. They are who they are. They've been around forever, and they have a massive following, and they have a pretty good reputation. But in my opinion, this airbox actually failed in that test. So it didn't really. I think it netted either 0 or 1 or 2 horsepower.
I think it was 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So the cold air inductions that we normally put on all our builds is completely sealed all the way around, no gaps. It has a cover on it. It only has a front inlet that pulls in from the grill. And then if we do our scoop in the washer bottle relocation to the back here, we open up a port in the bottom grill, and then it shoves the air right up into the bottom of the air box. So that's the best combination. So I would venture to guess there's another 7 rear wheel horsepower there, if not a little bit more. On a bone stock car, the cold air inductions is a solid 14 horsepower,
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For something that simple.
And the only one that came close was the Rotofab, and I think it was 13.
Yeah.
So those two are the best on the market. So either a Rotofab or cold air inductions would do really, really well on this car. Especially as the power goes up in the engine, the air demand is higher, so we might see a bigger delta.
Yeah.
That's typical. But we got the hood open right now, so there's no restriction, but yet it's still pulling hot air. There's air coming off the radiator, air coming off the headers, there's radiant heat, and it's pulling that in. There's a giant vacuum here, okay? And high pressure seeks low pressure. There's a low pressure area here. So everything's going to go to that filter that's in the vicinity. And I'm seeing the air charge temperatures are high, and it's actually pulling timing for IAT. So I'm going to make a little adjustment to that and make one more hit.
All right, let's see it.
See what we got. It looked pretty good. Sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
481. So we picked up another 453 pounds of torque. So this is pump gas versus the E64. 63 and a half right now. Just watching it on the scanner. But you got a good solid gain everywhere, you know. So we're up 10 foot-pounds of torque and almost 10 horsepower. So 472 to 481. And I don't really think it's going to want any more ignition timing. What I did is I just softened the amount of timing it can pull for the temperature, because the temperature is so high with that air intake. And the motor seems to be happy with that. So we're going to go with that. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Be sure and post those questions down below, and we'll be happy to answer them and talk about some of the products that we have. This car is a really good example of all of the things that we implement in every one that we do. You know, stuff that we developed over the years. You know, our patterns, our combinations. It's all in here except for the cold air inductions. So pretty cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned.